Good morning for this event. Let me introduce myself. I'm Raffaele Fregonese, and I'm the Formula SAE Italy director. So today we will have a discussion on what is new in this year, in 2023, for Formula SAE Italy. I will speak first, giving you a brief introduction of what is going to happen in Varano in the next months. During the event. Then I will leave the floor to Francesco Ristori, that is directly there. Thanks, Francesco, for being there. As a head of Formula Driverless Dynamic, that will discuss about, we'll give a focus on the Formula Driverless Italy rules. Then we will have Silvio Latassa, the head of mechanical inspection, that will discuss what is going to change in the 2023 Formula SAE Italy technical inspection. And then in the end, we will have Francesco Laviola, the head of Formula Electric Italy, that will discuss the electrical safety form and what does change in DV rules and ISO qualification. So I think that we can start. We have a couple of hours, so I will give you a brief description of what is going to change this year with respect to the rules. Let me share my my monitor. I think that now you are going to see. Okay. So again, thanks for the participation, for being here, because it is important also for us to have some direct contact, feeling, feedback from the students that are really the air of the competition. So what is new in the Formula SAE 2023 rules? First, really a quick overview of Formula SAE and Formula Student. I think most of you are already familiar with this competition. I think that most of you already participated, or maybe it's the first year, but in any case, you're working in the team, you're working on the car, before you know what is this competition. It is that, thanks to the SAE, has been held for the first time in 1978 in USA, and then has been spread all over the world. In Italy, we really believe in this competition in order to give the possibility of so students to work really on a real project. Therefore, we push a lot to have the event also in Italy. As you may know, the concept behind the Formula SAE is really designing a Formula car, and therefore there will be static events with judgment, judged regarding design, cost and manufacturing, and business presentation. But then we will have the dynamic events that will give the majority of the points that will really test the performance of your car in terms of the acceleration, the skid pad for the maximum lateral capability, the autocross with a single lap endurance, and also fuel economy that is valid both for combustion car and electric car. Just a picture of all the judges to tell you that the judges are really eager to see your design. Therefore, we are really waiting for you in order to see and judge your car, really understand which are the solutions that they're putting on your vehicles. The competition is held inside the Varano de Melegari circuit. Of course, the organization is still ongoing. We are yet to define the details, but most of the areas where the competition will be held are already defined and are inside the Varano de Melegari circuit. Therefore, in the paddock, we will have all the static events, the pits, and then along the track, we will have the various dynamic activities. For the acceleration on main straight, the practice area in order to test your car, the skid pad in the space over there, and then the autocross endurance in a part in the Ferro di Cavallo part of the circuit. With the autocross, that is a single open lap, while the endurance is a closed circuit that will be closed inside this area. Going more into detail, what really is the regulation in Formula SAE Italy? This year, the Formula Student rules will be adopted almost entirely, with really few exceptions. The main point are the classes that are accepted. So we will accept the internal combustion engine vehicle, electric vehicle, driverless vehicle, and the design review category. So the combustion engine is the class dedicated to the gasoline powered or E85 powered vehicles, with also the addition of the possibility of using the hybrid vehicle, following what has been also defined together with other competition. So the Formula Student combustion vehicle hybrid rule extension 2023 that define the possibility of having a certain level of hybridization with low voltage. Low voltage means below 60 volt system on the car. We will have also electric vehicle. As of now, there are several years that we have electric vehicle Formula Student. We will have a separate class for driverless vehicles, so we're not going to ask all the vehicle to compete in the driverless competition, but it will be a separate competition dedicated only to the driverless vehicle. And then Francesco will discuss more regarding this class. And then we still maintain the design review category, so the class 3 only for who is going to present the project without having really the car that is a working car. Points are, as usual, up to 1,000 points. We are following the same point distribution other competition that are not recasting driverless event for all the vehicle. So that the point distribution is in such a way that driverless do have a separate competition, while there is no the driverless event for at least some of them for all the teams. Vehicle eligibility, first year vehicle, so we are only accepted vehicle new for the competition year. And new will mean a newly manufactured chassis with significant changes in the primary structures with respect to the previous year. For the driverless class, we are not recasting a new vehicle because really the focus is on the driverless system. So every vehicle that will follow the rules but will be built after 2012 will be classified as a sort of first year vehicle, so you can compete without the additional driverless system. Some additional rules that have been added with respect to the Formula Student. So some, let's say, some really rules of behavior. So no smoking, no motorcycle and bicycle or self-propelled car inside the pit. This is really for your safety, in order not to have, when it's really crowded of people, in order not to have a vehicle that can be dangerous for the other, for the people that are working. And also trash cleanup is another important aspect, really, to leave the space as clean as possible. With respect to the Formula Student, we had the request of not having a power device as a dynamic device, power device that really remove the air beneath the vehicle, because we have seen that some team were going too much extreme in this extent, adding power device with a specific design and also a specific system storage of energy really dedicated only to the power device. So we thought that it could be something that is not really in line with what we would like to have as a Formula Student car. And also we limited the 12 volt, the low voltage system, we limit it to 60 volt DC or 25 volt AC in order to be compliant with the international standards regarding safety for low voltage systems. Regarding dynamic events, those are some few of the modification. We are following entirely the Formula Student regulation. Therefore, there will be some modification with respect to the previous years in the management of the various event, because in the previous year we were following the Formula SAE rules. And in this respect, we will have the driver limitation will be changed with respect to last year for who of you competing in Italy, in Varano, and in the previous years. So a minimum of 3 and a maximum of 4 drivers will be requested for each team, and each driver may not drive in more than 2 dynamic events. So any driver can do 1 acceleration and 1 stint of the endurance, or 1 autocross and 1 skid pad, as example. Therefore, the team has to balance how the driver will be used during the competition. For the track layout, we're really going to follow the Formula student rule with a minimum track width of 3 meters. That is the major difference with respect to the Formula SAE. Therefore, the course can be tight, but then we will try to leave enough space really to see to leave the performance, to open up the performance of your vehicle. Also, the endurance with respect entirely the Formula Formula student rules. And again, the major difference with respect to the Formula SAE, the minimum track width, that is 3 meters, so quite tight. But this is really the minimum. We will try to give enough space really for to open up the performance of the vehicle. So that was really a quick view of what is going to happen in the next, with the major difference of this year, 2023, with respect to 2022. We will have time for question and answer at the end of the session at about 11:30. So now I will leave the floor to Francesco Ristori as a head of Formula Driverless Dynamics for his presentation. Thanks for your attention.
Okay, so hello to everyone. I'm Francesco Ristori, and I'm going to talk about the driverless event. Just a second. Okay, the first thing I want to speak about is the difference between the electric and combustion car and the driverless competition. So every class have the design, the cost, and the business. But for the driverless, you have to focus on the autonomous part. So this is important for all these type of events. In particular, for the design, if you have a look on the rule S3.3, you can find some roadmap that we expect from you. So my suggestion is to have a look on this and focus on the autonomous part. On the other hand, we have the dynamic events, and in this case, it is a completely separate events from the combustion and the electric. So in the classic events, you have acceleration, skid pad, autocross, and endurance. On the driverless, you have acceleration, skid pad, autocross, and track drive. But the track is completely different from the classic one. As you probably know, for example, you have to have colored cones to discriminate if it is the right side or the left side of the track. For example, in combustion and electric, you can have a slalom inside the track that is not permitted in the driverless, and So it is completely different. In other competition, for example, in Formula Student Germany, classic car can do some driverless events. But in Italy, we decided to separate the two classes because we think that who is going to do the driverless have to focus on the driverless, and who is going to do the combustion and the electric have to focus on that way. So now, just a note about the technical inspection. So to access the dynamic events in the driverless, first of all, you have to pass the standard technical inspection. So if you have an electric car, you have to pass the electrical technical inspection. If you have a combustion car, you have to do the combustion technical inspection. Also tilt, noise, and rain, it depends. Then you have to do the manual brake test, so the classic brake test with the driver inside the car. And keep in mind that you cannot sweep the steps. So to access the driverless technical inspection, you have to do the manual brake test. Then you access to the driverless technical inspection, where we are going to check if everything is fine in your car, if you follow all the rules. We will check the inspection mission, and then we move to the EBS test. So first of all, we are going to check the EBS in static. So if the EBS is safe, and then the autonomous brake test. So we will move the car to the track and test if the ABS is working on the track. If everything is fine, you have access to the dynamic events. And obviously, in the same time, you have the static events for the driverless. So here you have a map. So our area is the one on the top right of the circuit. So there will be all about the driverless, also the technical inspection. So if you do the technical inspection, the classical technical inspection on the right place, then you have to move to the driverless area. So there will be also the brake and the acceleration track that is the same, and the autocross, skid pad, and track drive. So the skid pad will be the same area of the classical one. Just we have to switch the cones. And so the track drive and the autocross will be designed with you if someone want to come and help us. So at the end, this is it. So we have no much changes from the other years. So it's it. So now.
So thank you, Francesco.
Okay.
Thank you, Francesco. Hello, everybody. My name is Silvio Latassa. Just a few words on my career in Formula Student. I just started the experience with Politecnico di Torino in 2004. So, starting this adventure, let me say, and then in these recent years, I took the responsibility of the mechanical inspection in the recent event in the Formula SAE Italy. So, as already discussed before with Raffaele, there is some new rules this year, more related to the dynamic event that is more similar to the Formula Student Germany event. About the technical inspection, instead, the general assumption is to stay as these recent years. So the technical rules is aligned with the Formula Student Germany rules, but we would like to underline some changes that we have on the Italian rules. So we will discuss some detail on the submission deadlines that maybe was not clear on the handbook. Some technical rules and inspection process that is different from the recent years. A focus on the hybrid vehicles that are from this year allowed on the competition, and a quick overview on the scrutineering layout and how we usually follow the process of the inspection. So in here we have the deadlines. Just a quick note on the submission of the document related to the structural equivalency spreadsheet. So the deadline was a couple of days ago, so 27th of March. But I would like to underline that in this case, for the structurally spreadsheet approval, so for the FSAE, you will have time until the 28th of April without any penalties, because usually this takes some weeks then to be managed by the technical engineer that has to follow. So if you are struggling with this, we have some requests from the team if it's possible to have some more weeks, but there is no any penalties on this specific form that has to be uploaded within the 28th of April. So the important thing is to have the first submission of the SES, so the Excel spreadsheet. Then the approval could follow in the next following weeks within the 28th of April. In here there is some differences between the FSG rules and the Italian event, with a couple of news that were already mentioned by Raffaele before. So basically, we have the same technical rules from Formula Student Rules 2023. The only exception is mainly related to the using of the hands, with a proper table that has the suggestion on how to match the proper hands with the helmets. Already mentioned by Raffaele is this new rule that specify that is not allowed any power device for the aerodynamics. This is on the standard German rules is not specified, but from this year we prefer to exclude the usage of this kind of power ground effect that is prohibited. Just a quick note on this. Sometimes the cooling system has a sort of fan and duct design that could be similar to something like a power ground effect, because using the cooling system design layout could be possible maybe to implement also this kind of effect, maybe sizing the fan in a way that is not only used for the cooling system, but to create this kind of effect. And we already had some discussion with some teams, and this is not allowed. So if your car has a proper power ground effect, for sure it's not allowed, but also similar system applied to the cooling system is not allowed. So it's not possible to have this kind of effect. So for example, fans that try to remove air from below, from the lower part of the car. Then there is also a specification that lowered a bit the voltage of the alternate current from 50 to 25. That is different from the Germany rules. Then also, as always, on the driver equipment, we have some difference. It's specified on the Italian rules that only a certain kind of standards for the helmets is accepted. So please check that your equipment fulfill this list in terms of label that you have on the helmet. And in general, remember that fire extinguisher and all the rest of the equipment has to be checked before, just to avoid wasting time during the inspection, because the fire extinguisher is not the proper one with the proper label, or seat belts, or all the rest of the equipment is fulfilling the rules with the proper label and the age of the seat belts and so on is the correct one, just to avoid them to run to buy something last minute. Then on the inspection rules, we have a couple of differences. So it's, the checklist will be provided only on the competition site during the event. In advance, expect the technical inspection, but will be not published on the website before, as in the Formula Studio in Germany. And also we have no any penalties. So this rule 1.2.8 on the Italian event is deleted as rule. So we have no any penalty points if something not fulfill the rules or not respect something. So basically we need to fix everything to be compliant to the rules. And there is no any penalty. It's okay or not okay. So you have to pass the inspection, and there is no any possibility to derogate something with some penalties. So this is another difference. An important thing that we would like always to add to the base rule is that as soon as you present your vehicle to the technical inspection, you should already have performed before a self-inspection, let me say. So in the guys that bring the car to the inspection, among them at least one should have the capability to follow all the technical inspection and demonstrate, and maybe also performing it by themselves the checklist, demonstrating that the car is compliant to the rule. So basically it's important that you bring the car there with the car prepared and well designed, fulfilling the rules, but also the knowledge of at least one of you has to demonstrate that is able to run through the checklist and the rule, and all the stuff is compliant to the regulations. Then there is another couple of things that is equal to these recent years. So basically that the authority in the end is on the technical inspection. inspectors and the responsible of the inspections, and also that in the Italian event there is no any pre-inspection performed before the final inspection, but all the pre-inspection, also the checking on the all the equipment is done in the process. So that there is no any pre-inspection to be performed, but the pre-inspection will be performed during the standard mechanical inspection. Then here there is a focus on what already mentioned before by Raffaele. From this year, it's possible to bring a car that has a hybrid system, as per some other event in Europe. So basically, during the inspection, you have in some way to declare that the car has this system. So it's a standard combustion car that has this hybrid system installed. From the inspection perspective, there is some additional points, so we will add on the checklist a proper area, some checks that has to be performed. Basically, if you read the rules, there is this adding system. There is a maximum current that is limited, will be not checked during the event because this is will be quite difficult, but we have to demonstrate with the proper documentation how your system is done in terms of container and in terms of description of the system. So you have to describe your system, and most probably during the inspection we will check how your accumulator is designed and is built. So you have to show at least one cell, or let us understand how it's sized, because the limitation here is the weight of the battery, basically. So will be not maybe possible to weight the entire battery, because your accumulator will be stored in the container and already stored in the car. So we would like to avoid to disassembly all the car to do these checks. But it's quite important that from the documentation you could demonstrate the size in terms of volume of your accumulator, to understand how many cells you have there, and maybe bringing one more cell to weight only the unit, to understand that you fulfill the rule and respect the maximum weight. So we need a bit of collaboration from your side in this, because we would like to avoid to complicate too much the inspection. Also because, as you know, also the main battery pack of the electric vehicle is not expected in the Italian event. So we do not do this part of checking. So we trust on the documentation and on what you are presenting. Then some confirmation that there is no any big differences in terms of layout. So most probably we will have the same layout of the scrutineering as these recent years. So we will have the two different electric and mechanical combustion scrutineering. So before the electric part, for sure. As soon as you pass, if you have an EV vehicle, you will pass then the mechanical scrutineering in this area. Then the process after you got the mechanical inspection and eventually EV inspection sticker, you could access all the rest of the static checks that we have as usual. The only thing that is a bit changed and we kept as the new FSG rules states is that the tilt test will be performed only at 60 degree, checking at that level both the leakage of the liquids and the stability of the vehicle. So basically, we will skip the 45 degree that was until last year, but we will go directly to 60 degree and check everything in that position. Remember, with the tallest driver, and most probably we will place the car with a filler neck if it's a combustion vehicle, or on the side in which we are inclinating the car to test the leakage of the system. So from our experience, most of the vehicles that not has any leakage at 45 should be without this kind of issue also at 60. So most probably this is the reason why they changed these rules, and we take this as new rules also for the Italian event. So please check in your design and maybe also prior to the competition that you have no any leakage also at 60 degree of the inclination, if you have the possibility to test in advance with some method, safe method at your university or in some way. But we will test at 60 degree also with for the leakage. Then we will maybe correct also this in the new handbook. Already last year we placed here after the tilt test the weight of the car with the proper label and the weight log just after the tilt test, because all the cars has to pass the tilt test, and in that moment you should have, as per the prescribed on the rules, all the liquid at full level, including the fuel. So we will have just in between tilt test and noise test the vehicle weight with the proper log. Then, as usual, you will have the noise test if you are a combustion engine, or the rain test if you are an electric vehicle. We still have to position the rain test area. This is the old position. In this recent event last year, we placed the rain test on this corner. We still need to decide, but you will find the final layout on the handbook as soon as will be published in the next few months. But for sure, prior to the competition, will be clarified the final layout of the entire static event. And yeah, but there is no any big differences in this process compared to the last year event. And yeah, that's almost everything from my side. I don't know if there is any question, or also any suggestion from your side to how to organize. One important thing that I would like to say is that during the competition, with the checklist will be published the entry list of the technical inspection. This entry list is based on basically on the ranking and on some other criteria that will be published, but it's something that is just a placeholder to give you a slot. It's a way to give you the right priority. The intention is to give you the chance to have time to run all the process of the technical inspection and get the sticker before the static events and then the dynamic events. Most probably to solve some issue, or to avoid that you have to ask many times to the technical inspection guys at the entry of it, which is the correct timeline, is confirmed or not, because to plan a correct schedule is almost impossible, because we have no any forecast on, we have a general idea of the average timing, but for sure, basing on the world ranking, most probably the first team that we have in at the entry is someone that has already a mature project, probably. But to estimate the right timing of the process for each team is almost impossible. So we could not lose time. We have many activities to carry on in agreement with you and with your help. So the schedule will give you an idea. We try to anticipate if it's possible. So even if your slot is back to back with some other activity that we have to do after the technical inspection, some static events, we will try to give you the chance at the right time to complete the process. We could understand that if you are starting one day later than some other competitors, you will have maybe less time to fix what is wrong on your car. But I mean, you have to organize the event. We try to push to have at least the first process and the first check within lunchtime of the second day of inspection, to give you then the time to complete all the process. We are thinking to have a dedicated inspector to manage this kind of timing, because sometimes some teams could be late with the preparation of the car, so it arrives after the time slot. So we have to manage the priority between who arrives in late and who is maybe there with the car already pushing the line to complete the process, because I know that you would like to perform all the checks as soon as possible to have more time to prepare the car for the dynamic event. So we will inform you if the appropriate guy will follow this, to have a precise reference, or one guy that will manage this priority between the teams to avoid any complaints, because in July it will be hot with the sun, and we would like also to avoid that you stay in the line that pushing to have the priority without obtaining any advantage, keeping the car and all the guys there under the sun. So we are trying to improve this. Yeah. Almost that's it. I don't know if there is any questions. Most probably we will have some time after the presentation for question and answer.
Yeah, thanks, Silvio. We see that Francesco Laviola is connected. So if Francesco is ready, we can start with this part, and then in the end we will have time for question and answer.
Okay, so I leave the words to Francesco. Hello, Francesco.
Hello, good morning.
Hello, Francesco.
Okay, I'm going to share. Let me know then. Okay. Are you able to see my display, the presentation? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So, okay, we have some overview on the form for electrical system. Then I will also explain some notes about the electrical system officer. And finally, we'll see the main electrical vehicle rules that have been modified or added this year. Okay, about the form. The form is available to you in a documentation platform, so it's docs formula ata.it. This is an Excel file. Basically, you will see several tabs that you need to fill in. You see the yellow cells are basically one that you are required to fill in, while the gray, black, white cells are pre-filled and or calculation that you can use as a reference. And there are the the status cells that are colored in blue or light blue that provide you the overall status for each section. Each tab has a specific cell for adding comments that basically it's free, so you can add pictures or explanation, deviation that, or clarification that you have already discussed. And so you are welcome to use this cell to add any comments you believe it's useful to start the discussion or help the understanding of your system. In general, as I told you, there is several parameters to be added, and for each parameters you can already identify what is the status of that parameter added. In this case, it is an example of the pre-charge and discharge circuit. So you see that you are requested to select the resistor. All the components should be declared, listed in advance in the one of the first tab of the sheet. And then in the following part, you can just select by a drop-down cell. And in this case, yeah, this is a selection of a resistor. Automatically, the parameter of that resistor are filled in this, say, table. And you see that, for instance, for me, in the row 6 or following one, you see that there are gray cells that are pre-filled based on the information that are already present in remaining part of the form. And automatically those parameters are used for calculation. And you see there are some values that are shown to you, but the final criteria are accepted. You see OK. There are also in the top part of the form of each tab, there is the overall status of, so it's basically the combination of all your status of each row, and you see if that part is already okay. While for some parameters there are reference to the rules, we are using officially this year the Formula Student rules, so those references are updated to the latest version of that rule set. What we ask you is to upload the form, of course, with the status all okay. If you know that there are already some tabs that are not okay as overall, you may soon contact our board, or yeah, so there are two contacts. One is official, one is the Formula EI address, or you can contact me directly to this address. And yeah, we can already identify why you need some deviation, why you are not achieving the OK status, and then you can get the approval to upload the file as it is. So if you have all the status okay, you can directly upload in the platform. While if you have some points, I recommend you to already send a request or a mail to inform us. Okay, the deadline, we have 2 deadlines for the rest of the documentation. So the deadline for the ESF is April 10th. This is for the first submission. So yeah, if you should send the first, I would say, I hope you send the final document by April 10th. Then if you see that something is not okay, and so we ask you to clarify or modify some parts, yeah, then you have up to July 3rd the possibility to upload new updates of the file. But yeah, you need to send the first document, so just not send the draft, but yeah, send what is the best document you have available at the time. And then if we need, we will ask you to apply some changes, or yeah, we will discuss maybe because we found that the solution is something that we do not understand, or maybe it does not comply rules, and so you can update the document till July 3rd. Penalties are in the rules, and basically because ESF is a mandatory document for us to perform the technical inspection, the penalties are minus 10 points per day or minus 50 if you achieve them more than, I would say, 5 days. If you do not submit any document, we are not able to go on with the technical inspection, so you are not allowed to attend the event. Okay, I will wait for the end of my presentation for question and answer. Okay, about the ESO, so the Electrical System Officer qualification, the last, so the 2023 rules is introducing a specific requirements for ISO, which is that is any person appointed by the team as electrical system officer shall provide a proof that he or she has a proper training in terms of practical and theory trainings to work on high voltage power system. And the reference is the DGUV application, we say, 209 and 93, which specify basically several stages of training that should be provided externally. So you are not allowed to take this qualification directly by your university, so you need to have a third party that provides the certification. Some of you may already have a certificate for certification for the previous form application that was the 200 and 005. This is still accepted, so you can also provide certification for the former, I would say, standard for training. This is okay. Else, we recommend you to already take the latest and updated standard. And okay, that standard basically specify mainly 3 stages. The first is the person that will work on systems that are not electrical, or however, not directly on electrical system, such as your driver. While and so this person should be basically just informed. Then the second stage is for who can work on electrical system when they are non-live. So basically, who does not work on directly on high voltage, but he can work on electrical system. So he needs to know how to be sure that the system is not alive. This is a minimum requirement. Then, yeah, the best would be that, of course, we expect that you work on a high voltage system when you build and assemble your car. So we recommend you to have the stage 3 which is the top training where you know how to work on a system that is active or in proximity of systems that are high voltage. Based on that, for this year, at least in Italy, we may have this kind of link, but yeah, it's okay. So the first stage is a sort of a person that is informed. Then there is a person that is expert to work on electrical system, but not on high voltage or active system. And then we have the person that is proper trained for working on high voltage. However, for Italian teams, consider that having this certification, so that you attended the training, is not enough. But your university or faculty advisor should provide a sort of declaration that based on your training, you are appointed as a, say, person that is expert or is allowed to work on high voltage. So differently from German teams or other teams that have certification by DGUV, authority, having in Italy, having the certification of the training for the CEI, or say standard, in Italy is not considered enough, but yeah, who is sending basically the team to the event, and I mean the university or the faculty advisor should provide a clue that they recognize your training and they appoint you as a person that can work on high voltage. Okay, then the last section is for main changes for the rules. Okay, this is the deviation from the Formula Student rules that we apply in Italy. So for us, the low voltage system cannot exceed 25 voltage in AC. So based on what is the local regulation, this voltage is the maximum voltage allowed in a low voltage system. So any reference to the, say, tractive system active is changing in 25. So we will keep 60 volts in direct current, while we limit to 25 the alternate current. Additionally, to the AMD device that, so the bender device is mentioned in the rules, due to the shortage of this component, we also allowed equivalent device, which are the IR bender 425 or the Sendine SIM 101 MLQ. Okay, then yeah. Additionally, wrong format, but additional rule that has been added is that all the materials in the container that are structural should be fire retardant. Okay, this was okay. Additional rules is that you need to provide proper protection from the opening of the cooling system or cooling ducts in such a way that in case of fire, the driver or whoever can be working say around the accumulator, like when you move the accumulator on the end cart, is protected by flames. So you should protect the face or the body of those people, and then you need to provide design your system in such a way that openings are not directed on people that are expected to be around the part. For the same reason, the end cart shall be equipped with a firewall, and with the same intent, so to protect who is pushing or pulling the end cart. That's all from my side. So yeah, I joined the question and answer session.
Okay, thanks, Francesco. So if I can add a couple of words, so for what we have seen in the other presentation, safety first, just to summarize, it is really important because you are working on, we are working with vehicles that are moving and with high voltage. So safety first, it is really important to follow all the rules related to safety. Any other aspect is compliance with the rules. Therefore, all the work that you have done in order to check that everything is complying with the rule will speed up the competition, the overall competition, and most of all your competition. You will have more time to the to be dedicated to the eventually to go to the practice area or to the fine tuning of your car and be absolutely ready for the static and dynamic event. So check the rule, have a look at your car before shipping to the competition, have a look again to the complete checklist, feel completely verified that everything is okay. So it will be much easier for you, for us as an organization, but also mainly for you. It will be much more convenient. You will have more time for. We do not have to rush to fix something that maybe is not 100% okay. So now we have some time for a question, maybe from the floor or whoever is connected. Do we have a microphone on in the room?
Hi. Okay, yeah. Will you follow in the future like the direction of FSG or FSIST for driverless? So maybe that a car can do both the competitions like in FSG or FSIST? Thank you. Not, I mean, not for this year, but in the following years.
So in this moment, we don't think about it. So right now we want to maintain the separate, and I think this is the way we want to follow.
Yeah, Francesca, if there's something we will have to discuss in the future for the future event. So it will also depend on which will be the level of preparation of all the team. If all the team will be, there is a big number of team ready for having both the competition without the driverless and with the driverless content. So something that we will communicate in the future.
Hi. I've got two questions about the technical inspections, mostly about the overall organization of the tech. Last year, I remember that there were three separate areas in the tech inspection area that were dedicated to the different aspects, the general chassis requirements, the powertrain, then the aero devices, and so on. Will it be possible to, in order to speed up the process of the tech, to check simultaneously all the aspects of the car, or are you going to keep this strict distinction, just like last year?
Yeah, yeah. The intention is to keep the process as it is. For sure, having a complete team that is able to carry on the entire inspection maybe could bring some advantage to the team. But in general, the entire organization and the entire timing, so basically with the process divided in step, we think that the overall timing to manage the amount of team that we have with the resources of the technical inspector that we have is better from a process and an organization perspective. Also, having dedicated guys that could follow each aspect of the car should speed up the process to better check everything in a better way. So we think that the overall timing that you need to complete the process should be almost the same. What we are thinking is to have more slot for the central chassis and suspension system checks that usually takes more than the other stages in order to have a bit of help to speed up the process. So we are thinking to change some little things, but the concept will stay as it is.
Yeah, because I was thinking about the fact that, I mean, some checks could be easily performed simultaneously regarding different areas of the vehicle.
Yeah.
So, and about the tech, you mentioned before that at least one member of the guys that are present in the tech area should be able to perform by themselves the check. Now my question is, wouldn't it be the basic way of checking all the aspects that are required by the rules? I mean, in my personal opinion, it should be better for the overall technical inspection process that members of the team should be the first one to get hands on the vehicle and show, with the help of the judges, in a clear way, the compliance with all the requirements.
I mean, yeah, we could think about it. The approach is to do all the checks from our side with our guys, but for sure having a constant relation with you, and as soon as something is not fulfill the rules or is not compliant, there is a continuous but in general we prefer to keep the process doing all the checks 100% on all the cars, because sometimes it could be also possible to go through the list, trusting you that some aspect is already checked by you, or also maybe you are quicker because you know the car, how to operate on the car, and so on. So we could think about on how to collaborate in a better way to speed up the process, but for sure I would say that we will follow all the checklist, doing the check from our side with your help when it's needed.
Thanks.
Are the free drivers still requested also for driverless team? So should we select free drivers that has to do the grass and everything? Also, if we don't have a part of the brake test, dynamic events with driver?
From my side, I have to double check. If I remember, on the drivers we test only one driver.
Last year we had to test all the 4 drivers we had
all
to
the 4
select.
drivers for the drivers? Yeah. We need to double check on the rules, because most probably should be not needed. But I don't remember. The driverless event is something that we perform all the checks on the car with the driver, because it's needed to understand if the cockpit size and so on, all the checks with some small derogation. But most probably the egress test and all the equipment should be tested only on one driver. But we will double check and let you know if we could skip to test for all the drivers, because maybe for the driverless specific event, if you are not joining the other events in which you need to have the full set of driver and equipment, maybe there is no sense to even buy all the equipment for the drivers. If you are going to join only to the Italian event that has only the driverless dynamic event. So I think that could be considered as suggestion. We will let you know during the event if it's possible, or maybe also with a communication prior to the event to avoid to prepare all the stuff for all the driver in a driverless event in which I suppose that the test with the driver is only related to the brake test. So only one driver could perform this test.
Thank you.
Regarding ESOs, you were talking about the DUGV certification, and I'd like to ask whether is it enough and a CEE, the CE certification done by an external entity or not?
The CEI, you mean the CEI, Italian norm, or?
Yeah, for example, we have a CEI 1127-2021 certification. Is it enough or not?
If you have the CEI 11, as told you, it is enough as training.
Yeah, we done this training by it has been done by an external company.
This is okay. That if you are in an Italian team, we need also the faculty advisor or university to prove, maybe like I think maybe a letter or just a stamp where they accept, so university accept that you are the reference for, so the expert to work on high voltage. So this training is enough.
Okay, so we just need a letter from the professor.
Any proof that the university is aware and accept that you are going to work on high voltage system.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
There is a question from YouTube, but in particular, requesting if the ESO request is also for a combustion vehicle. And Francesco, no, the ESO is not requested for combustion
no, even
vehicle.
for hybrid cars, we do not request the ESO for that. So only because for high voltage vehicles.
Yeah. Those vehicles are not supposed to be high voltage vehicle, and the limitation of 60 volt DC, 25 volt AC, really to be compliant with international standards, so that they're considered the low voltage system. Yeah. And then we got the deadline for April 28. So the April 28 is the deadline for the SCS and SCSA, and yes. E3D, right, Silvio?
Yeah, it's the second submission. What we stated before, that there is no any penalties about the SES approval that could follow in the next following weeks within the 28th of April.
But after that will not be accepted.
Correct, yeah.
And after that date.
Sorry, Raffaele, we lost you for a while.
April 28, if you do not sign afterwards, the SCS is like it has not been presented even after that date.
Yes, correct.
About the SES, I'd like to ask, in case a team joins several competition out of the FSAE Italy competition, and maybe the checking process of the of other judges of other competition is quicker, and the feedback and negative feedback arrives, and some radical changes are needed on the document. I mean, in the past, last year, as an example, we did it. I just wanted you to confirm that re-uploading the SES after checks from other judges is okay without penalties, even after the deadlines?
Yeah, the first upload is an important thing. Even if inside the time slot in which then you have the deadline, the final deadline, it's always possible to re-upload. If some feedback arrives from the other competition for some changes and you have to do changes on the car to fulfill some other requests from other competition, it's always possible to upload also later on the SES. The important thing is that you could present during the event both versions of the SES. So one will be the final checked by us within the deadline. It is enough a communication on the website by email and also a re-upload, but you have no any penalties due to the re-upload for the modification that arise from other competition.
Thanks.
Other questions from the audience?
From what regards the EV tech inspections, so from these years also accumulator inspection will be part of the checklist?
Yeah, I don't know why still we have still seen this kind of question, but yeah, accumulator is part of the checklist. Also, yeah, last year we check with pictures or data sheet during the initial inspection. Then if we have, I would say, needs to inspect directly on the parts, yeah, we perform this check, but it's not a new change. So we are always applying the accumulator inspection. It's part of the electrical inspection that we have the initial part. So we check with the pictures with, I would say, without opening the accumulator. Then if we have doubts, we we will in some way manage the inspection of the interior of the container. But yeah, the accumulator is part of the checklist as for the past years. So then maybe it's confusing the fact that there is no accumulator inspection in the, I would say, recharge or maintenance area, but it's done in the electrical vehicle inspection area. While if we need to open the accumulator for, I would say, deeper investigation, then we will manage. So this is, I would say, optional based on the confidence you are able to provide us on through the pictures, schematics, and datasheet.
Other questions for the audience? We have still some minutes to answer. Okay, if there are no other doubts, I think, of course, some doubt will remain in your head, but then you can always contact us. It was just a chance to be together to have some discussion on the rules of what you're going to see in Varano in July. So, first of all, I would like to thank you for the presence here for this, let's say, hybrid event, partially on the web and partially directly there in Bologna. it's a pity for me not being really there in Bologna to see you directly, face to face. But okay, now with this new technology, we're already used to be partially in face to face, partially on the net, on the cloud, somewhere connected. So this is the good point of the new technology. On the other side, the bad point is that it's less likely to have really direct contact. So again, the main point that really I would like to stress is always work in safety and really read the rules, recheck again the rules before delivering the car. Even the last day, recheck the car for each rule in order to be really ready for the competition. You will save time. We will able really to dedicate all your effort really to do to show your best performance and really to get a good scoring in all the categories. Again, thanks again for your for the participation. Thanks to Anfia for the organization of this event. There are several years that we are working on Formula FSAE Italy, and we are always keen to go to Varano de Melegare to see all the passion and all the students that would like to show how much they working on their car. So again, thanks again, and see you directly face to face in Varano with your car, with your work, with all your really the results of your effort over there in the hot, let's hope not too hot days in Varano de Melegari. So bye, and thank you again.